When we play a musical instrument, we use a whole variety of aspects of ourself, mentally, physically, and neurologically, that all come together to make music and the practice of music. And here is a diagram which I call the 3 sensory domains of music activity. And I'm going to bring it to share it, and then we'll have a brief discussion about it. Okay, so at the apex of the pyramid, we have sound, listening, and hearing. And just hearing a noise is not inner listening. Musical sound comes from the psyche. It's not something that exists purely on an external way as a sound wave. So everything that we do in music is centered in this. Now, when we play an instrument, we always are using our tactile sense, the feeling of the body, the breath, the hands moving, and so forth. And that physical awareness is absolutely integral to all that we do. We build up huge reservoirs of memories that involve integrating, imagining sounds, and then physically making them come into reality with the instrument. And then the third aspect I call the visual sense, having to do with music notation. And in our visual sense, what we see is essential for learning music notation, and it's also an important means to observe how others play their instrument. Of course, I have to say that the visual sense is not necessary. There have been some of the great musicians of the world have been blind. They don't have a physical visual sense. It is interesting that Braille, music notation in the form of Braille, was developed by Louis Braille, who was a musician, and he wanted to be able to notate music with it. And that's how it first began, I'm told. We're going to now do a presentation of what I call invoking inner listening. And in it, you're going to see and listen to how you may go about as a player invoking the inner listening so that when you begin your actual practice, that it may be deeper and more fruitful if you take a few moments to do this. Before you start to play, it's often good to do something that I call invoking the inner listening. And all that means is to relax, listen deeply to your guitar, play a few simple notes, some beautiful sounds, and that helps to bring you into the state of mind where you're well connected to then get into your actual practice. So we'll begin by playing a couple of single notes, and this is how you do it. I'm going to begin by playing the high E in the 12th fret of the first string. I'm going to play it with a little bit of vibrato and expression, and I'm going to breathe slowly and listen to the note. This is the important thing. I'm going to listen deeply until the sound completely disappears. Here's the high E. I'll do a couple more notes. Here is the A on the second string, 10th fret. It's a very resonant note, and it's a beautiful note on almost every guitar. And then the third note I'll play is the A on the 7th fret of the 4th string. This is a powerful, long sustaining note, extremely beautiful on almost all of our guitars. Usually with just a few notes, you can bring yourself into a state of mind where you're really open to playing and all the beautiful sounds of the guitar. So that was single notes. Now let's move to playing a few very pretty chords. I'm just going to play a C major 7th chord in the first position. I'll strum it with my thumb, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to breathe slowly, listen to the sound until it completely dies away. Here's one more chord in the first position, an A major 7th chord, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to strum the chord and listen deeply to the sounds until they're completely gone away. Here is another chord, the F sharp half diminished 7th chord, well known from the Villalobos Prelude number 3, if you play that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remember to inhale, and then as I strum the chord with my thumb, I will exhale and follow the sound through to its completion. Here we go. And sometimes it's nice just to do a second time. I think I can have a more beautiful sound than that. Here we go. So invoking the inner listening can be done in really any way that pleases you. Here is another example. We're going to play a couple of arpeggios, and I'm just going to use the shape of an E major chord beginning up here at the 6th fret location. I'm going to play each of the 6 strings in an ascending arpeggio and let them sustain, and then I'm going to move descending to the first position. It's a lovely pattern, and it's very nice for invoking your inner listening. We've just used single notes, some chords, and some arpeggios with the idea of invoking inner listening. Try working with that. Find your own chords, single notes, and arpeggios, or whatever really captivates you. And you'll find that if you do that for a few moments before you start your regular practice, that it really, really enhances things, and your experience is deepened, and your results also will reflect that.